Hi everyone, this is Kelly from The Truth in Story, and this is phase 2 of my bag. I don't know what to call it, whatever it is going to be. I made a bag, and I made a mistake. It needs to be wider because this is not a tarot bag. It's holding a bunch of different things, and it's just not wide enough to do that. So that's number one. Number two, I use leather strapping, and the way that you crisscross this, which you'll see, it's actually getting better and it closes better, but it's a little tough and I'm afraid it's going to rip the stitching out. But regardless, that is easing up a little bit, but clearly this isn't going to work because it's just not big enough. So I'm either going to keep this as a tarot bag, or and we'll see. You will know more than me. I'm waiting for my set of sticks, druid sticks. I got a set of geomancy sticks. These I purchased from AlaskaLaserMaid, and I messaged her a week or so ago and said, is there any way you could do me a set of smaller ones, about half the size, so that I could have a whole set to show first witness, second witness, and the judge. And so those were supposed to be here Monday, not through fault of her, she mailed it right out, but through fault of the United States Postal Service. It was supposed to be here Monday. It wasn't. It was supposed to be here today, which is Tuesday, and it wasn't. And I am so hoping that it's going to be here tomorrow, which I will put to the end of this video. But depending on what I'll do is see where those fit in this bag, and then cut it off and make this a little bit of a smaller bag to go inside the bigger bag. That's kind of what I'm thinking to do with this, so that I don't waste it. But probably once I cut that, I think it would probably still be okay. Or I'm just going to use it as a tarot bag because it would work great as a tarot bag. So that is what I'm doing. But when I showed everybody this one, people were like, oh, show us how you do that. It's nothing exciting, but I'm going to go ahead and show you what I'm doing. So what I did was I cut two pieces of the same fabric, obviously. I cut them the same size, roughly. They are not perfect because I just cut it. I didn't worry about it too much. I'm going to kind of straighten. And then I laid them face to face. So this is the wrong side, the gray, although I do like that. And the right side is this darker X right here. And so I laid those facing each other. Again, I wasn't all that concerned with being exact, but I was trying to, line it up and as neatly as possible and have that all set. You're not going to see this part. I've already stitched one side together, and so now I need to continue along and stitch up the bottom. So what you're doing, so what I did with this one, and I kept this actually the same size because this is going to end up folding down, which you'll see. I'm going to walk through what I'm doing here. But this will end up being the same height as this one. It's just going to be this is edging, so, and there's going to be a little edging, so it's going to be about, this much-ish wider, so I can fit some more things into it. So, yeah, so that's what I'm doing. I feel kind of silly because, again, I'm not a seamstress. I have sewn things in the past, but I've never hand-sewn things. But the only thing you need is fabric, a spool of thread. I have black thread, a needle threader if you are blind like I am, and something for your tie. Now I had this lovely leather, which I really like the look of, and again it is starting to ease up, so I may leave it alone for something else, but it's just not wide enough. So for this time I got some cotton cord, which is there's 7 yards of it, so I'll be able to make more. So this is just cotton cording. Let's try to find the beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. This is what happens. Look, am I at the beginning? No, I am not. And now I'm going to end up unraveling the whole thing. Because why not? Because why not? Oh my goodness. See, this is why. Why do you want to follow? Here we go. I'm going to roll this. I'm going to rewrap this a little bit better because this is live and unedited. You know, I could just kind of fix this and come back, but no. You can see why I don't really do this kind of thing. So this, I'm hoping, it's a little thinner. Like, I like the thickness level of this leather, but I think it's going to slide open and close much easier with this cotton. So that's what I'm going to use. So you need something for your drawstring. You need a pile of something for your drawstring. You need, obviously, oh, Katie lost my needle. The needle's, no, here it is. You need a needle, thread. I need this because I can't see. And then you need a piece of fabric. So let's put that out of the way. And so we can see I've just laid them face down. And as I said, I'm following a video by, or not a video, a blog post by Benebell because she too says she doesn't stitch. In fact, she made hers out of eyeglass cleaners. And so here's a knife. Yeah, so yes, I keep a knife on my tarot table because, you know, when you unbox things or something, you need to have a knife. And so yes, I'm following. She's not a sewer either, and yet she was able to accomplish hers. But I did follow Annika, my friend Annika, aka Quilfin. She has a beautiful video on how to make, you know, a fancy tarot bag. She makes gorgeous ones. You know, if I had a sewing machine, but she did hand do them. And so I'm kind of modifying or trying to do something similar to the type of stitch she uses, which I believe is called a running stitch. I don't worry about it too much. You're not going to see it. For me, it's important that it be sturdy, but that's about it. So I am just tying the ends of the string together, thread together. Why, people, do you want me to show you this? I don't know. This is how I do it. So I just wrap it around my finger so it overlaps like that, and then you kind of get it started and roll it and then slide it down and it makes a knot. Now again, nobody's going to see it. It's going to be on the inside, so I don't worry about if that's a pretty knot or not. Now you can see that I came in, I don't have a ruler right here. I think you're supposed to come in about 1/4 of an inch. I, again, just kind of guesstimated. I wasn't too concerned about it. And so that's what I did. Again, you're not going to see any of this. And I'm going to have to try to zoom in here, but I just feel like it's the blind leading the blind. I'm just kind of doing, and I will say that I've gotten in and out of this bag a lot, and this is very hard to open, and yet the stitching, it hasn't come up at all. So it definitely feels quite sturdy. I'm really happy with the sturdiness factor. So I will give myself some props for that. So let me try to zoom in here. I have no clue if this will zoom in on something this, or zoom in on something this small. So I just stuck the, you know, the thread in here. I mean, anybody with just a modicum of sewing abilities is going to be able to manage this. So I'm just getting it started by going ahead a little ways, and look at what I did already. And this happens, like, you just have to not worry about it. And I'm not going to do the whole side of this on video because A, that would be very boring, and B, I'm kind of doing this with intention because, you know, this is my ritual bag. So what I do is kind of get it going, and then I'm kind of going back. I don't know how to explain this. I will try to find a video that it shows, which I think that Quilfin's does, because I think that's where I got it from, that shows sort of a running stitch. Again, it's not perfect. I don't go for exact everything to work out exactly. There's sometimes little loops in it, which if it's big enough, I'll get it out. But I don't worry about it too much. I just keep kind of overlapping the stitches so that they are, again, secure. So for me, it's more important that it be secure than pretty because nobody's going to see it. And I just continue to do this all the way up. If I get, you know, part way there and I run out of thread, you just kind of start another one and you keep going. So, you know, you do this on all three sides, leaving, let me pull this down a little ways, leaving room for the flap, because this is, we're going to make a little pocket for the drawstring, and so I didn't sew all the way up. I stopped, and so I'm going to go, so I'm going to, you know, go along the bottom and come all the way up to here and stop here, and then I'll come back after I do that and show you what I did next, because again, you don't want to see this, number one, and number two, I'm going to go do it with a little bit of a focusing on what I'm doing, but I did, you know, you did request that I show you how I made it, so this is me trying to do that, so I shall see you in a few. Okay, I'm back. So I have sewn messily. This one not quite as turning out quite as well. Stitch, I mean, it's going to be strong, but it's not pretty. I've sewn three sides. And so now you have to create, well, this is how Benebell did it. So I cut myself some cord. I don't, you know, there's no strict measurement. It just depends on what you're doing. And I just always opt to give myself a lot of extra. So you're kind of putting it behind and then you're crossing it. And you've got two ends going out, you know, it's going to go out one on each side. Again, there is a video that shows, or a link to her blog post, and it shows graphs of what she's doing. So I will show you that. And then sorry, Patrick, I need to mute my phone. Patrick is WhatsApping me. And what you're doing is you're going to fold this over, and then you are going to sew this in. You're going to just kind of do what we just did, and you're going to sew all along this. If you have a sewing machine, you can sew it along with the sewing machine, but you're creating a pocket, and then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, making sure that the whatever rope that you use is not getting sewed into the seam, right, but making sure that's making a pocket. So I'm just going to sew along this and then along the other side, and that is going to make a pocket, and you can see it's going to end up being about the same size as the one that I have now. Just obviously with, it's going to be wider. So I'm going to go and do that, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I have now stitched along there and along there. You want to make sure not to stitch them together. I give you this suggestion because, yes, I did it a little ways till I realized I was digging in too deeply. So stick your finger back there, make sure you're not doing that. And so now it is actually essentially finished. So you would then just turn your work in right side out, or whatever you want to call it. And you could trim like the hem in the inside to be less, a little bit less going on. There's a lot you could do to that, right? But in a nutshell, you could, you know, iron it down, but it also, you know, all starts to, you know, kind of form its shape. So there we have it. It's a little bit larger, obviously, than this one, about the same height, just like I wanted it. Just a little bit wider, because what I'm going to end up with, put this back. Right now I'm just kind of figuring out what I'm going to do with a secondary bag to keep these, but I think I put my stones into a bag so that they won't get these ends, because I really didn't like sticking these into a bag, because then I'm going to have a bag of geomancy. So I'm going to have my deck in here. I have my bag of stones, which is to make the grid that you saw. So I have all those in this little bag here. So that will go in there. This will, when I want it to, my talisman, which I have added since my last bag showing, I've added a raven feather to reflect raven. So that will go in there. And then another bag, which is going to be a decent sized bag. So I've got 12 geomancy sticks. So that will go in there. And then here it is all kind of pulled together. Now these are a little bit long, so I will this works. I will say this cotton is much quicker and easier to open, but you want, when they're wide open like this, this is more than is necessary. So I'm going to cut that shorter, tie off the ends here, tie off the end there. So it's still going to be long, but at least it's a little bit shorter. So, and you could, actually tie it. It stays closed pretty well because this is thicker fabric. But I know, I think Benebell showed, you could actually tie the end of it, especially if you were throwing it into another bag that you didn't want it to fall apart. So, but for my purposes, probably not so much necessary. But I will say, but see, look at that. I probably shouldn't have done it quite. There you go. I can even it out. So because I feel like that could actually go through. I'm going to have to play around with that. Make sure I don't lose it in the hole. But there's going to be my bag of this, so I could actually probably put this into a bag because I've got a lot more room now. Could even put this into here, but this is a little bit larger of a bag, and I probably am going to use it for the sticks. But see, like this could go in here, and I would still have room for my sticks, but it's just, because it's the same height, it's just, I would have to cut it down for sure. So I've got room now, which is exactly what I was trying to gain, was better space and a better pulling out, opening up of what was going on here. So I'm really happy with that, especially once my sticks are in, which I will show you in a minute. Well, for you, it will just be a second. I have to wait till tomorrow and hope that it comes in, and then you can see how the whole bag has come together. Because again, this isn't really made to be a tarot bag. I'm wanting it to be larger, but you can see, for example, I could, once I open it properly, which is again why I remade this deck. This could be a regular tarot deck for a larger deck, and it would work really lovely. So that could be what I end up doing with it. So there we have it. That's how I made it. I'll show you in a minute my geomancy sticks in it, and then call it a day. So thank you for watching. I don't know why I'm saying that, because I'm just going to be saying that after I get done with it. So be ready for the magic. Okay, I'm going to stick this on here because look what finally came over a week later. And again, this is not AlaskaLaserMaid's fault, because she put hers right out. Like, it got popped right into the mail, and it got put on priority mail. It was just the U.S. mail system taking it all over the place. So I've had this happen every once in a while. Of course, it happens when you're eagerly awaiting something, right? So I thought I would still tack this on here. Oh, look at how little they are. They're so cute. Okay, she even put them in with the Druid sticks. So she sells, like I said, I bought these from her, which are, she calls them Druid sticks, and other people do as well. I don't know that there's anything that shows that Druids use geomancy. They well could have, but the more modern kind of revival of Druids did work with geomancy, and so that's why they're called that. I call them geomancy sticks because that's what they are. Look at them. So these are the big ones, and then look. So what I had, as I said, what I had asked was, could you make me a set of 12 geomancy sticks, about half of the length and half of the width. That's a small set. Oh, they're so cute. And that's what she did. Oh, look at, so there's 2 and 1, just like we have 2 and 1. And look, see, so it's about half of the length, and it's a little more than maybe than half of the width, which is perfect. This is a perfect size. She went back and forth with me, how about this size? And I'm like, yes, that is perfect. So the reason that I wanted 12 is I wanted to be able to do sort of my quick geomancy readings if I was off somewhere with my bag and I didn't want to have paper and pencil, I didn't want to figure things out because there is mathematical process to everything. I wanted just to be able to do the quick answers. And so I did 3 sets of 4 because there's 4. If you don't know what I'm talking about with geomancy, I have some videos on that. I'm going to, now that I have this, do a little bit of a refresher. But as you can see with the large ones, the way that you cast it, you would be thinking of your question, and then you would cast your, so here we have the dragon's tail. So there's 4, and then you would normally cast this 4 times on a shield chart, and then create your whole chart. Now, I have a handout if you look in my descriptions under handouts, I have a handout for a quick reading, which takes you straight to the first and second witness, and then the judge, which is the final answer. So that's what I wanted to do, is create a set of quick sticks that I could, I love this size, it's perfect. So I would cast the first, so there we have the first witness. Geomancy goes from right to left. And so here's also, let me show you these. Again, I have a whole bunch of geomancy videos. Not a whole bunch, but I have a bunch of geomancy videos. But in my handouts, I also have this, which shows you the figures, although she did provide it a little one, which I probably couldn't read anyways, given my eyesight. But she does provide you with the larger sticks that she has, or the smaller set, she provides you with a little, showing what they are. I have a larger handout, and so here you can see that this is Rubus, and so I have the keywords, the elements, the colors associated, keywords, passion, pleasure, fierceness. It's associated with Mars and Scorpio. It's strongest in the 8th house and weakest in the 2nd house problems, and it can be traditionally unfavorable. I don't do a lot with those traditionally unfavorable favorables because it does depend on the question and it depends on where it is. But there's that. So look at how cute it is. Okay, sorry. So this would represent the quisited, or the question. And then this, the second witness represents the, it can also be the past and the future. It all depends on the question. I will do a separate video. I just wanted to show you these, how this is going to go in my bag. So then here we have actually the same, so that's quite lovely, isn't it? We have a lot of passion and energy going on in both the house of the questioner and the house of the question. And so here we have the first witness, the second witness, and then you don't cast the judge. He's going to be created from these 2. So we're going to add 2 plus 2 is 4, which is a receptive energy, which gets 2 dots. 1 plus 1 is 2, which is receptive and gets 2 dots. 2 plus 2 is 4, and 2 plus 2 is 4. And so we are going to get populous as the judge. And so you can see here, oops, oh, she gives me a little bag too. So here we have populous, which is stability. So it's what's interesting is that it's all of the energy of the answer is coming from outside forces. So again, you really do have to have a question, but I just wanted to show you how you could use this. How absolutely adorable is this? Yes, I love this. So these are perfect. These are exactly what I wanted. These are made from cedar, and I had her put the oil coating. I can't remember. She has different coatings that you can get, and this is like wood oil or something. It's the same thing that I had on these. So I requested that same. With the larger ones, you can request, you know, different decorative circles. Of course, these are so small, you just have like a bored hole, but they're quite clear and quite obvious. And how gorgeous are those? These are also really nice for me for if I've done a reading, right, which is all done really on paper. I can set up the first, second witness and the judge for when I photograph, because then I usually pull an oracle card or something, and I have that set so that I can photograph what that final thing is, because all the rest of it is just to get to the first, second witness and the judge. So I could even, if I wanted to, set this up as the final answer. Because again, you know, because I sell geomancy readings, and they are starting to get popular, which I love, but you're always thinking, how can I leave them a photograph, right? So I can have the judge, I can have the first and second witness up here, and then I can have, I'm just not doing the actual, but just showing you. See, I can have, there's the first and second witness, there is the judge, and then here is the sentence, which I do often talk about. And so now I have the ability to actually photograph versus give them a messy chart that really doesn't tell them a whole lot except for my scribblings on it. I'm able to give them a photograph of what their final reading is, and the judge being big is wonderful because that is the final answer. This is nice little extra information if you want to do it. Not everybody even uses it, but this is the final answer of all of the things that are on a shield chart. Here's the answer, and so I like that being nice and large. So yeah, that's why I requested from her, and she said that she will sell these. As I said, if anybody wants these, like, is that something that they can request? And she said, yeah, she's already obviously has the file and everything. I purchased these the large set of geomancy sticks on hers cost $15, which is so well worth it. The set of 12 is $20, and again, so well worth it. So that was just a quick peek at what they are. Now, she did give me a little yellow bag, so let's stick them in here for now. Oh, I'm so happy with these. In fact, I may get another set to just keep in my purse eventually. So now I have, oh, look at, they fit in there really good too. Make it a black one of those. You can get those at like Michael's and things like that. So now I have everything in my bag that I want to, you know, my intention was to have in my bag. So let's just take a quick look. Geomancy sticks. Beautiful Wild Unknown trimmed. My set of stones. And my totem, reflection of my totem. So I am able to representing me, myself, I am able to oops, there we go, put to the north, put to the south, put to the east, put to the west, also representing earth and air and fire and water, and then add on, which I love. These are also the, you know, northeast, those directions as well, but it also has the idea of the kind of the stages of life where we have the child, and we have the youth, and we have the adult, and we have the elder here. All those things that I talked about that those represent. I have all the 13 moons. I think these go this way. I have to get, you know, when I change the size up, I kind of get messed up. But I think if I place that, it makes it, you know, come around the best. Yeah. And those are the 12 moons. The 13th moon is represented in the middle, which would reflect your totem or that kind of thing. So I do have a stone for the 13th moon as well. And so I have all that. I have my ability to answer a question or ask a question. I have the raven feather and the wolf for my totems. And then I have my tarot deck. So I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to stop this now, but thank you for watching. And of course, you didn't have to wait for me, but for getting all of this. I do have a bigger, but that's way bigger than necessary. This fits them perfect. So I need to find maybe a black one like this, but there we have it. I hope that you enjoyed this and have a wonderful day.